Turn this down.
You there?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Ready to go?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Kingdom Soldier, and I'm back again with another commentary. I have a special guest on that's been on my channel before, and you can see that his Twitter handle is Curse Tipsy. You guys have seen on Esports Report that he just announced his new squad that he's going to be running with for the rest of this season. Hopefully, we don't see any more roster changes, but I'm sure we'll see a few. So it looks like you're running with Parasite, Enable, and Mochilla. How do you feel about the new roster?
Honestly, I love this roster. I feel like due to the circumstances, I can't even say due to the circumstances. Honestly, this is just a team I feel like is really, really player heavy, and I really like that. So I'm really confident with my squad.
Yeah, what strengths do you think that Enable, Mochilla, and Parasite kind of bring to the table and complement what you do?
One, I'm a really I can run objective mindset, but I have a Slayer mindset too. So just teaming with Mochilla. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him play on LAN. He's a beast. He knows how to slay. He doesn't move. Like he's kind of like he's a sloth, but at the same time he can be an aggressive AR. Parasite. He's won multiple championships, COD champs last year. He that winning mindset, and then Enable's done the same thing in Halo. So he's gonna bring everybody's gonna have a winning mindset. That's the one thing I like. And once we find out how to play together, I feel like we can honestly we're gonna be a very underrated team, but I feel like we could dominate a lot of teams.
Who is the captain of this team?
Honestly, that's one thing we're gonna have to decide. It was supposed to be me, and then we had a last minute pickup with Parasite, so I'm not sure how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Me and Parasite are just gonna have to talk that out. So.
Well, I feel like one of the things that Parasite brings to the table in my mind is his leadership. I think he's a good in-game leader, and even when he was on teams like even with LV, where everybody was screaming and shouting and yelling at each other, I could see that for him it wasn't as easy to get to that place where he was going to be really argumentative, and so I think he tries to bring stuff together and make good in-game decisions. And I would say as well what you did with Justice Pro. With that team when you were their captain, when you guys had study, and the run that you guys went on. I mean, you're a proven leader as well. So I think either way, whichever one of you guys is number one, the other one will be number two. And you're just going to have a good squad. And I know that Mochilla and Enable are going to follow your guys' lead. So as long as the two of you can kind of get it together and figure out who's going to lead and where, what you want to do with this team. So what is the first LAN that you guys are going to be at?
First, LAN we're going to is Niagara. Honestly, we're actually going to have a team house, so we're going to be able to LAN all the time playing against the other Curse roster, which hasn't been announced yet. But yeah, so I can't wait for all that. We're going to just LAN practice there at the team house, and then first LAN at UMG Niagara. So that's just, I can't wait for it.
That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see the Curse family feuds come out of there.
That's going to be fun. That's gonna be fun.
Are you excited for bringing the Curse brand and everything over to your YouTube channel and your Twitter and all that kind of stuff?
Definitely. They're just one of the biggest one of the biggest esports organizations. So being under their name is just phenomenal for me, especially that I've been in esports for less than almost like a year and a half, somewhere around there. So it's just crazy.
So I don't know how much you can say about this. This is the last question I'm gonna ask about Curse, and then I want to get your opinion on some of the other roster changes. And just so you guys know that are watching, at the time of us recording this interview, neither one of us was on Esports Report, and Curse had not announced the other rosters, and so not all of that intel was official, so we didn't want to talk about it, just so you guys know. But you seemed yesterday a little shocked on Twitter, and so was that because of just the last pickup, or was there something specific that kind of shocked you about your roster or the Curse rosters?
Okay, well, if you're talking about our Curse roster, there was a little mishap. We eventually found the right four that we wanted, and then that kind of Parasite wanted to join, so he pretty much replaced another player last minute completely. We were in the middle of scrims playing FaZe Black. We were up 3-0 map count. We were doing really good, and all of a sudden he gets a call. It's just like, I'm dropped. Parasite's on the team, so it was kind of crazy.
Wow.
And then I don't know if you guys saw Method's team change too. He didn't even know. Like he didn't even know till the day before, the next day on Skype, and
that was rough.
Yeah, he's kind of like left in the dust unless he gets on SB or he joins some other team in the league or in the season. He's just kind of screwed over, I could say.
Well, so I kind of
So
actually wanted to talk to you about the TK switch a little bit because I know that I saw methods at like 12 in the morning. He tweeted out. He tweeted out
yeah,
what? He just was like, "What?" And I was
yeah,
just like, "Okay, really? He can't be serious." Like, I hope this really didn't happen to him. And I know that TK said he wouldn't be 18 by COD champs of next year. Sharp said they pulled the trigger too fast in picking him up. But my question for you is, one of the things that Sharp said as well is this is the best squad they could get with the time they had available. Do you think that this squad is going to maintain that top four consistency outside of COD champs that TK has?
well, I mean, honestly, sorry to cut you off. Honestly, they brought in really good people. You brought in Apathy and Dito.
Yeah,
They were pretty much a top four team when you look at their past. They were
yeah,
regionals. They're a really good team. Dito's a really good Slayer heavy mentality player.
yeah,
Apathy can slay. He can run OBJ. He's a really good objective player.
yeah.
And then you bring in Goonjar, which is dominant with an AR, as we all know. And then Sharp, he can fill in any role. So he's a really good player. I feel like they can honestly they can hold the top four seed, or I mean placings. They can stay up there with all the other teams,
Yeah.
but it just depends if they mesh together. So that's all up to them, their teamwork.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, this reminds me of SB. Like you
Yeah,
look at the roster and you say good, 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 but then you still ask the question, can they win? How are they going to actually play? And then they show up. And I
yeah,
think that it's the same thing that people would say about your Justice Pro roster back when it was like you study Gucci and Chino. It's like, okay, these are all good players, but we have no idea how they're going to perform on LAN. We don't know if they're going
yeah.
to show up. And so I think this team has a lot of potential. I'm really excited to see TK play on LAN. Call of Duty Ghosts just the online doesn't really tell us anything, and I think
Yeah, it really
we
doesn't.
saw that at regionals and COD champs that all these roster changes, what they actually did to teams is that a team like Optic got better on LAN, a team like Envy shocked the world and got better on LAN
Yeah.
and showed up. And your dude Study, he learned a lot in the time that he was in the Envy house with those players. And are you guys still tight? Did you congratulate him for
Yeah.
his placing and everything? Yeah, he did a great job. So I'm
I'm still. I will have to, honestly. Wait, can you hear me right now?
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, yeah. When we first part ways or whatever parted ways, I was just like, I hate this dude. I don't want to deal with him, talk to him. And then when I see him at COD Champs, I'm just like, I honestly didn't really watch COD Champs. I was like, damn, I'm not there, so I didn't really watch it. But I watched some of the VODs, and when I saw he won and all that good stuff, I was just congratulating him. He's a really good player, so he deserves it.
Yeah, I remember I DM'd you and you said you were salty, so you weren't watching.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hey, it's all good, bro. Like TK, after they got eliminated on Championship Sunday, Parasite was like, "Hey, meet me in the lobby," and Sharp was like, "We're not even awake yet." Like they
yeah.
slept in and they took their time because when you get
Hmm.
knocked out in your team caliber and you get knocked out that early, that had to
Yeah,
hurt. Like you didn't travel to LA to only play for 2 days, like and not make it
yeah.
to Championship Sunday. So, a couple more
Hmm.
questions. So about FaZe, in your opinion, I don't know if you've seen the videos that Censor has put up, and the
I've
videos
seen
that
him.
have just. Why did they actually break up? Like, what the heck happened to that team?
Um, for SB, one, it's like it's weird because when you look at it from the outside, you're like, that was such a good team. You're like, I wonder why they broke up.
Yeah,
Is it they're for splitting ways? That's coming from an outside perspective. But say if
yeah,
you're on the team, you don't know how their actual attitude is. Coming from that team, like I know Dito, he has a really big attitude. Nothing about him, but I know he has an attitude. So I know some players didn't get along with him and just stuff like that. And
yeah,
honestly, if you don't like somebody, you're gonna want to find a new place where you can call home. You're gonna want to find some place you can hang out with friends and chill and have fun playing. You don't want to play and not have fun doing it. So that's honestly why I think that team split up, just because of arguments and probably attitudes, just mainly attitudes and egos. That's all it was, in my opinion.
wow. It kind of sucks when players, because that's what happened, I think, like to the Boston Celtics. It's like
Yeah.
it really sucks when players not getting along becomes the issue, and a team has to break up as a result of that, like what we saw happen with LV. Like the ability of those players was great, and I know they're all going to land in good places. Parasite landed with you guys. I'm sure we'll find out today where Killa and Miracles, if we haven't already, where they're landing, and it's those players are really good. Those four guys that were on Las Vegas, and I think that it's unfortunate that they just couldn't get along. They couldn't work out.
Yeah,
But we're talking about top 20 players on the sticks. When you look at Ricky, Parasite, Killa, and so any
yeah,
organization would want to pick those guys up. So in your mind, we saw this whole FaZe red and black craziness. And my opinion, I put up a video. I said Proofy was going to leave and he got his own team. That was just my opinion.
yeah,
I think that because I heard JCap in his video actually called it Proofy's team. He said, well, Proofy's team. And so for me, that was him saying, Proofy got his own team. And there was a little saltiness I heard from replays on Twitter, tweeting at
yeah.
SB and saying, yeah, it sucks what happened to you guys that your team got taken. But do you think this whole multiple rosters thing, like what you guys have going on at Curse, what FaZe has going on, do you think that's actually good for the future of esports for a few large organizations to have multiple teams, or should it be spread out?
Honestly, I feel like it's good and bad. The reason I say it's good and bad, the reason it's good, say if I have, say, just, we don't know what the curse names are, but say if it's Curse NY and Curse LV, and
Yeah,
I'm Curse NY, I can always go talk to Curse LV, and they can always help me out with other teams. They can let me know what they do and stuff like that. That's
yeah,
good for within the organization. But it's bad because, well, and another thing, a good one, if you have it'll bring more viewership. If you see two teams going against each other, obviously the teams are going to want to be the better Curse team. So it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
they're
yeah,
going
yeah,
head
yeah.
to head against each other,
Yeah.
and rivalries and stuff like that. That's gonna happen. But I feel like the only reason I feel like it's bad is because I honestly want to have more organizations in it. There's more teams. Just like in the NBA, you don't have two Celtic teams or two Heats. I just feel like I'd
Yeah.
rather have more organizations in it than just Curse or FaZe Red and FaZe Black. That's just my opinion. I wish there was still an SB, but I have no idea what's going to happen with that.
Well, they keep tweeting that they're doing something, so we're just gonna see. I mean, there's people out there, there's players out there. In SB, what they did before, they put together who was available, and they did great. So I think that
Mhm.
their organization, they're the two owners. I think they bring something to the table that's unique from a lot of the other owners in the industry outside of Hex. I think you see an owner like Hex and Hastro, and what they bring to the table as far as being because they're not just figureheads. They actually,
Yeah,
especially Hex, he has his own YouTube channel. He does his own commentaries. He got
yeah,
Old Men of Optic going on. He does interviews with other people. He's in the industry actually participating, and so
hmm
it's a little bit different than like no offense to like Blev Dog and stuff like that. I do know. I think the TK guy, Chaos or whatever. I think he has a YouTube channel that's
yeah,
pretty big.
yeah. hmm
So I think that, in my opinion, I agree with you. It's good and it's bad. When you had the Lakers and the Clippers were horrible for their entire career except now.
Yeah,
You always had this little team and this big team. And I think
yeah.
that's what happened. You had LV was the big dog and NY was the little dog, and NY stepped up. At regionals and was like, no, don't look at us that way. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how those other rosters turn out. So last question: which team is better, FaZe Red or FaZe Black?
Um honestly, it's kind of weird because I feel like FaZe Black has the best talent team wise, better than FaZe Red. I feel like they're just a top three team skill wise.
Yeah,
But I feel like they have so many slayers. They're gonna run into the same problems they ran into on FaZe before, which when you had JCap and Proofy.
yeah.
They're both slayer minded, heavy players, and I feel like it's gonna bite them in the butt. I feel like FaZe Red is just gonna have that teamwork. They're gonna know how to get the objectives, which is the main goal. That's everything. And Theory can still slay on FaZe Red too. So I feel like FaZe Red is gonna work together better and be the better team, but FaZe Black is still going to be a really good squad. So that's just
I
my intake on that.
I have to agree with you 100%. I think what just happened is that FaZe as a team, by picking up Theory basically and swapping him out for Proofy, got better. I think that Proofy is a great player, and if on paper you might say that Proofy's better, but only in slaying. Theory caps more.
Yeah.
He's a better OBJ player, of course, and that's really what they need another player that can kind of be aggressive and play that objective. And when you've got Theory, who had the most caps and most domination caps and all this kind of stuff at regionals. When you have a player like that, you pick him up and get him on the squad. And I don't think Proofy is as consistent with a sub as he is with an AR. We saw that even way back on Black Ops 2 when they tried to make him pick up a MSMC. it was just problematic for Envy back then. And so I'm looking forward to how they play on LAN. I'll say that again. All these teams, even your team,
Yeah.
promising as you guys look online, I'm really looking forward to what
Yeah, everything comes
happens.
to LAN.
Yeah, LAN is where it's at. It's where the money is at. It's where the hype it comes in, where the
Yeah.
screaming and yelling comes in, where the crowd comes in. You can't hear me shouting at the TV at my computer screen when when you triple cap
Yeah.
somebody on Octane or something like that.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you coming on, man. And
Anytime, man.
it's really cool that we were both on Esports Report today. Today was my first time on. Have you been on there before?
No, I have never been on it actually.
Sweet. So
So it's
today
the
was
first time.
today was
Yeah.
our first time being on Esports Report. I wish you the best of luck with your team. And
Appreciate it.
you're welcome on the channel at any time, man.
All right. Thanks. Thanks again, man. Thanks.
All right. Peace.
All right.